When I first married James, I already understood he was a man who treasured friendship more than most. He had this tight circle of college friends, Michael, David, and Chris, who had walked beside him through every major chapter of his life. They were the kind of men who showed up when your car stalled at midnight, who celebrated victories with you, and who sat quietly through heartbreak without needing to say a word. When I became part of James's world, I accepted them as part of it too. And I quickly realized they weren't just occasional faces in our home. They were family. In the beginning, I genuinely loved watching their bond. I'd see James laugh so hard his face would redden as the four of them lounged in our backyard, a cooler full of sodas between them while they swapped stories from years ago. Michael, charming as always, had a tale ready for every moment. David, calm and thoughtful, often became the anchor of their conversations. Chris, with his constant jokes, could dissolve any tension with ease. And James, my husband, was the connection that held them all together. Their loyalty to one another was something rare and beautiful, and I admired it deeply. But being the wife within that circle wasn't always effortless. There were weekends when it felt like I had to share James not only with his job or our daughters, Emily and Sarah, but with these three men who seemed to rely on him as much as we did. At times resentment crept in. I remember evenings when James missed family dinners or came home late because one of them needed him. I'd sit outside on the porch, arms folded, reminding myself, he's a husband and a father before anything else. One evening, when Emily was about 10 and Sarah was 7, James's phone rang. It was Michael, and his voice sounded sharp with urgency. Without a moment's hesitation, James grabbed his coat and rushed out the door. Hours passed before he returned, and I was there waiting. "James," I said, trying to keep the frustration out of my voice. "You can't just disappear every time one of your friends calls." He exhaled heavily, rubbing his forehead. "Sarah, it was Michael. He's going through something awful. His mom's in the hospital. He needed me." My anger instantly softened, guilt taking its place. Of course Michael needed him. "Still," I whispered, "we need you too, James. Please don't forget that." As the years moved on, our family's connection with his friends deepened in ways I never expected. Michael became like an uncle to the kids, cheering at Emily's piano recital and Sarah's soccer matches. David often arrived with thoughtful little gifts for the girls, always considerate, always gentle. And Chris, who never quite grew out of his playful side, became the kids' favorite playmate, ready for a game of catch or hide and seek anytime he visited. Slowly, the resentment inside me shifted. These men weren't pulling James away from us. They were expanding the circle of people who cared about us. Then came the moment that tested us all. That winter, James lost his job when his company downsized. I still remember him sitting at the kitchen table, shoulders slumped, staring at the dismissal letter in disbelief. "What kind of man am I if I can't provide for my family?" he whispered. I reached for his hand. "You're our man. That doesn't change." But I could see the storm raging behind his eyes. Within days, his friends showed up without needing an invitation. Michael walked in carrying bags of groceries. David quietly slipped an envelope filled with cash into James's hand, offering no explanation. Chris spent the week fixing things around the house while James tried to figure out his next step. They refused to let him sink. They lifted him one piece at a time. One evening, all four men were gathered in our living room, laughing in a way that brought color back to James's face, and I found myself watching from a distance. That's when I realized how deeply connected they truly were. They weren't just friends, they were brothers. There's one night I'll never forget. James had finally secured a new job, and we invited his friends over for a small celebration. After the kids went to bed, I stepped onto the porch and heard James talking to them. His voice was stripped bare. "I don't know what I would have done without you guys," he said. "I was ready to give up, but you carried me. Sarah stood by me, but you—" His voice broke. "You reminded me who I am." Michael rested a hand on his shoulder. "That's what we're here for. We've always done this. We don't let each other fall." Standing in the doorway, tears filled my eyes. I had once seen them as rivals for my husband's time. Now I understood. They were lifelines, not only for him but also for us.